Cover story and the heated reaction after the Biden administration, with just a few days left in office, suddenly decided to remove Cuba from its list of nations sponsoring terrorism. The move is meant to thaw relations between the two countries, but many Cuban Americans in Florida are not on board. Reporter Forrest Saunders tonight in Tallahassee, where lawmakers, both Republican and Democrat, are calling this decision to be reversed.
President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration is set for January 20th. That is just on Monday. And if Florida lawmakers get their way, that's all the longer this change in diplomatic relations with Cuba will last. It was Wednesday. President Joe Biden sent shockwaves through the Cuban-American community here in Florida. The White House removed Cuba's designation as a state sponsor of terrorism. In return, it got the release of 553 prisoners, a thawing of tensions, and the admin says a chance to advance human rights.
By taking these actions, the administration has legitimized a dictatorship.
A group of Florida state lawmakers not happy about it, holding a press conference this week urging the president-elect to reverse course.
The Cuban people deserve our solidarity, not our concessions to those who oppress them.
Miami Rep. Alex Rizzo, whose parents are Cuban, nearly brought to tears over the change.
I think you can see just how passionate I am about this. This flies in the face of democracy. This is exactly America stands for. I cannot tell you what I feel right now. I can only say thank God that January 20th is next Monday.
And it's not just Republicans. Democrats, too, are ticked. From the state level,
it just slaps in the face of all the people that came here that are fighting for democracy and trying to push the Cuban regime to fold and to get to democracy on the island. And this was not the way to do it.
To the federal, Congressman Jared Moskowitz predicted it'll have major political consequences.
Florida was already moving towards being a red state. I can tell you now this is waving the white flag of surrender. Florida will be a red state with this decision at the end of the Biden administration. And that's a problem for the electoral map for Democrats.
Florida has 76% of the nation's Cuban immigrants, according to some estimates. Miami-Dade alone accounting for 52%. But advocacy groups like the Washington Office on Latin America have pushed back, saying the change allows humanitarian aid to better flow to Cuba, eases economic and financial restrictions, and creates a better diplomatic climate for future human rights reforms.
I would just remind anyone on this recent deal with Cuba.
Even so, it's sounding likely the nation's next Secretary of State, a Cuban American himself, is about to do a 180.
Nothing that was agreed to is irreversible or binding on the new administration.
Now, Cuba has bounced on and off that terror sponsor list for decades. It started back in 1982 when it was put on. President Obama then took it off in 2015. Trump put it back on in 2021. President Biden took it off again here in 2025. And now we wait to see what will happen in a second Trump term. That's the latest out here at the state capitol. I'm Forrest Saunders reporting.